I apologize, dude. Caitlin and I are just at it, and it's dominating everything going on in my life right now.
Let me know if you need anything. There's new print materials.
Oh, Bob,
Hey, how are you, Glenn?
how you been?
Good, good, good. How about you?
Good, good.
Is Scott still in town?
No, he left. He was only in for a couple of days.
Oh, well, I'm sure he had a great time.
Joyce's birthday, her big 7-0, so
Very good.
Hello, Robert.
Wow.
Hi, Gene.
Hi, Roger.
Daryl.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us today.
I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
Where are you?
I am in Batavia, Illinois.
Oh, okay. So not far away.
Not far at all.
Hi, Roger. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Jack.
Hey, Sosi. Hi. I am going to send you an email. I think I have your email information. And you and I'm going to set up a time, and we're going to do an Rotary orientation. Okay?
Howdy, everyone. Hey, Barry.
Wes,
guys.
Hey, Vince.
can you tell us a little bit about the timing for next week when we're meeting in person?
Hey, Jack, to answer the question, it's going to be the same as we are used to proper. Get there at 12 o'clock, commiserate with your friends, with your masks on. 12:15, we're going to sit down and eat and begin the meeting.
But you start eating at 12, right?
We usually, it's not usually served, Jack, until 12:15 is when usually Chandler starts service, and that's what I've gone for.
Well, when are you going to start the video or the online part then?
I'm going to the video thing, Jack, at 12 o'clock, just like we typically do, and Gavelin, we typically do at 12:15.
Okay. So that won't change then, just like, okay.
Correct. I'm trying to change as little as possible and get us back to somewhat of a normal cadence of things. That's at least my goal. Is that all right with you?
That's fine. I just wanted to know.
I should have done a better job of announcing it, Jack, and it was my plan to do today, so thank you for the reminder.
So, Vince, I saw your article in the paper.
Oh, yeah, but guess what? I'm getting my COVID shot this afternoon.
Ah, very good.
So after I wrote that, I managed to secure an appointment at Walgreens, which wasn't easy.
I get mine down here in Arizona next Thursday. Harry, you'll be happy to know it's about, maybe 4 minutes from my house.
Are you gonna walk, Daryl?
Pardon me?
You gonna walk to your appointment then?
He's going to take a golf cart.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get it? At the hospital, at a drugstore? Where are you going?
It's a high school.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, Daryl, now remember, there are laws in Arizona too.
I'll try to follow them.
I got my appointment at a Walgreens in Bensenville. There's like 10 other Walgreens, at least 10 other Walgreens closer to me, but I got it in Bensenville.
You're the one Roselle and Schaumburg or Roselle and Higgins.
Terry Park, at least I don't have to drive.
I have a question for Mary. Mary, is showing the Topgolf thing advertising your business?
She's mute.
I don't see a logo, so I think it's just a nice scene.
Oh, okay.
Are you saying, so you would say the Gary Anderson logo also? Is that what you're saying, Terry?
Yes, I would.
So you're picking on my accountant?
If you're accountant, I'm picking on it.
We'll see about that.
So Carol, are you going to that heart attack restaurant or what?
If you come on, I will.
I'm not coming out right now, but I'll come out there one of these days.
Well, I guess I'll have to get the guys together to do that out here because none of the women are going to want anything to do with it.
Yeah. How far away from you is that?
Probably about an hour.
Yeah. What did they say it was? In Chandler?
Set a timer for 6 minutes.
I forgot what the video said it was. Was it in Chandler?
Yeah, it was Chandler.
Chandler, yeah. So the problem is that I got to drive all the way around the mountains.
There we go. Time goes.
Yeah.
Well, just don't be like Kobe Bryant. Don't take any helicopters.
Hey, Vinny,
So
what was
we
your
have-
article about?
I want you all to know that we have a guest on board, Roger Breach. Who all I know is he keeps shaking his head listening to the interaction between you people. Wait till you get to know us better, Roger. You're gonna cry.
I wrote a letter to the editor, Terry, earlier in the week about the difficulty in trying to find a COVID vaccine shot. And I mean, I sent it on probably either Monday or Tuesday, and they put it in the Herald yesterday. So, I mean, they must not have a lot of information to put in the paper.
One of the, did you see they have a new exception for, they're lowering the age for people who have certain medical conditions?
Yeah, well, they're not doing it.
Medical,
Not
one
Cook
of the
County,
medical
though.
conditions,
They're not doing it.
one
in
of the
Cook County.
medical conditions is obesity.
Well, yeah,
I was talking to another attorney this morning. She said that some states have one of the exceptions being people who smoke. I mean, wow.
That's New Jersey, and you know that just covers like the entire state then at that point. If you're overweight or smoke in New Jersey, I think they pretty much got the citizenry involved now.
well,
If you just breathe in New Jersey, you might be considered to be smoking.
hey,
Great point, Pat. Great point.
There's in New Jersey that are actually, there's parts of New Jersey that are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Name one.
Well, when I worked for Conica Minolta, our headquarters was in a place called Mahwah, New Jersey. And it
How
was
many
a-
years ago was that, Vince?
Well, I've been retired for 9 years.
No, so,
But we used to go out there, fairly regularly, and it was in a part of New Jersey that was kind of like our North Shore. It was, the little office complex was in the middle of this beautiful neighborhood. So,
Well, and of course, New Jersey's motto is the Garden State.
yeah, I mean, this neighborhood was drop dead gorgeous, beautiful home, and right in the middle of it.
Well,
all-
New Jersey is like 80% covered by trees.
Yeah, well, it was a beautiful area, and the office complex where Conica Minolta was in the middle of it. Was in the middle of this neighborhood, which how the heck they ever got that done, I have no idea. But there was this office building in the middle of the
New
neighborhood.
Brunswick, New Jersey, and I never saw so many deer. And do you know that New Jersey has a bear hunting license you have to get? If they have that many bears.
Oh, well,
Well, unless it's an emergency.
I didn't
Oh, that's
see
true,
when I
Daryl.
was out there. We used to fly in and out of Newark Airport. If anybody's ever been to Newark Airport, it's like the ugliest airport in the world.
Does anybody know why New Jersey got all the toxic waste dumps and New York got all the lawyers? New Jersey had first pick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, there goes the I was going to say you have a very brave man with the finance trial line, Roger. Any more, Roger?
That sounds like a pretty good fine to me.
Roger Smith never disappoints, does he?
No, never does. And he knows I love him.
I certainly hope our guest, Roger, is not a New Jersey native. Thank you very much.
Hey, Bill, don't get too cozy in that chair today. Hope you're eating light. We don't want you sleeping again.
My wife and I did live in New Jersey for the better part of 10 years, many years ago.
Yep.
Talking.
Fine then.
Roger, I put the Fun and Frolic fine link in the chat for you. Just go ahead and just start it now.
You know, there are worse places than New Jersey, you know. There's always Cleveland.
None come to mind.
All I know is the Newark Airport is not some place that you want to be in too long.
Yeah. Well, we got stuck there in the beginning of 2019 when we were trying to go to Barcelona, and we got stuck there for about 9 hours in the Newark Airport. I can confirm all of that which has been said about the Newark Airport.
You should have seen it before they redid it.
I was there one time trying to get back to Chicago. It was about, our flight got delayed for 12 hours. And I'm sitting in the airport lounge, you know, by the American Airlines gate, and I'm sitting in the lounge. I'm the only guy in there, and I'm waiting for this flight to Chicago. About 10:30, they turned the friggin' lights off. Completely dark. I said, what the hell? I said, I'm still here. Turn the lights back on.
I have that same feeling for Philly. Can't stand the Philadelphia airport.
Mm-mm.
And the same thing happens in Miami after 10 o'clock. It just shuts it down. When Emily was living in, we would fly back through Miami and we'd always land there around 10:30 and nothing's open. It was always fun.
Well, the Duluth airport is absolutely wonderful.
We should have a party.
It's huge. It's huge.
Hey, Wes, let's get a party together and go to Duluth.
I was in the Duluth airport. Not much of an airport. You don't want to go to Duluth. It's a very depressing area.
Nice place.
Now.
Hey. So we go up north of Duluth every summer. I have been for the past 35 years. The Iron Range.
That's where we went on our honeymoon, north of Duluth.
Ooh.
Went to Duluth.
First rate, Jack. You went first rate to
the boundary waters.
The Zenith City of the Unsalted Sea.
Beautiful drive up along Lake Superior, north of Duluth.
Yeah, that is a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
The Zenith City of the Unsalted Seas was what my father-in-law would call it.
I read an article a couple of years ago that Duluth was sort of a desirable place to go on vacation.
Really?
I've never been there. I mean, I've been up north in the Upper Peninsula and up in Iron Mountain, but I've never been to Duluth.
Hey, Bill Kelly.
See,
Kelly. Can you hear me?
We could hear you, Bill. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put everyone on mute right now because the time is now 12:15, and it is time to call this meeting to order. This meeting, of course, of the Rotary Club of Schaumburg-Hoffman Estates. My name is Wesley Crockett. I'm the president of our club. Today is Friday, February 12th, 2021, the 30th meeting of our Rotary year this year. Just 18 of these guys left. I think we have a great meeting for you scheduled today. We have a big Queen of Hearts pot that we're going to go over. We got a couple of nice letters to share with the club that I think they're going to make everyone pretty happy today. We are going to introduce Moral Associate to our club as well. And we have a great speaker, Mr. Robert Bryce, is going to talk to us today. So we're going to start the meeting just like we always do. And if I could please ask Roger Smith, would you mind unmuting yourself and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under it. Man, I forgot it. I'm going to get fined double. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Roger. And to be fair, the under God part of it was added a lot later than the rest of it. So if you missed that part, I'm not mad at you. Right. Let me see who we got here. Ed Haig, would you mind please unmuting yourself and lead us in the four-way pact?
The four-way pact. First, I will have the courage to tell the whole truth. I will be kind in the way I tell it. I will be fair and not seek selfish advantage, and I will have an open heart and an open mind.
Thank you kindly, gentlemen. Thank you kindly. And if we could go over to Mr. Jack Lucas. Jack, would you please honor us in an invocation?
Dear God, we give thanks for this day and for the Rotarians and guests that are with us. We ask a blessing on the Rotarians here and around the world and the projects that they're involved with. Bless this meeting to our use. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Jack, as always. We appreciate it. And let's go to introducing some guests. And I believe we have at least one guest with us today. Bob Fleischer, would you mind introducing our guest speaker? Go ahead and unmute yourself there, buddy. Sorry, I tried to do that.
Hi, we've got Roger Breach as our speaker today, and he's quite an accomplished speaker on a number of different subjects. Most importantly, Your Brain is Lying to You and Dancing with Chaos. And I think it's going to be a very interesting presentation. And I think Roger's done this presentation with many Rotary clubs, maybe 100 or more. So we welcome him and thank him for being here.
Thank you, Roger. Wonderful to have you.
Now that everybody has applauded, can I leave?
Not just yet, sir.
That may be more applause than I'll get at the end of the presentation, so I'll take this.
No.
Thank you for being here with us, Roger. Happy Friday to you.
Wes, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, guys. So let's move into the good news of the week, and it's something that I typically do, and I've been asking recently for others to help me out. And if you're someone who would love to help me out with this and present our good news stories of the week, let me know. I'd love for you to help us out because it's a lot of fun. Give me just 1 second, and I will share my screen with you here and talk about the good news stories that we got this week. All right, share my screen, share computer audio, and let's do screen number 1 here. So a couple of things happened this week. A homeless teenager in Arlington Heights High School in Fort Worth, Texas, just got a scholarship to Southern Baptist University in Missouri. And get this, Leslie Anadu, his name, he's a homeless teenager who plays for the junior varsity football team in Arlington Heights High School in Fort Worth, Texas. And this is a great story and makes me think to myself, just how good is the varsity football team at Arlington Heights High School in Fort Worth, Texas. So a pretty cool story there, I thought. Another story here I thought was kind of cool, being that we just had the Super Bowl last week. 2 different, a guy from Naperville Central and another guy who I believe was from Stevenson, a Barrington grad, both of them had won the Super Bowl last week with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we got a couple local Super Bowl rings here.
And Wes, real quick, my oldest son played against Scotty Miller at Barrington when he was playing at Conant. He was the fastest guy ever. The kid caught an interception from Conant. He ran 99 yards and he just ran away from everybody else. It was unbelievable.
Oh my God. And he was a lineman?
No, he's a receiver, but he caught a interception. And my son was the lineman who didn't even try to get him.
Another one, because Valentine's Day is coming up here, and I love this one. You can name a cockroach after your ex and watch it get eaten by a bird or a reptile or something. The San Antonio Zoo will charge you and let you watch the cockroach named after your ex be eaten. I thought that was pretty fun. Last but not least, if you were someone who didn't see this week, God bless you. This is a shout out to all the lawyers and anyone who shares a computer with their younger sibling. Well, what happens if you're, or a younger daughter? What happens
Turned on.
if you're in the middle of a hearing and you forget that you have a filter turned on? Please enjoy this.
I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
We're
a look.
trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It
in the,
is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
I hope everyone enjoyed that. His exasperated last ditch. I'm not a cat at the end really got me and reminded me very much of Alan Gabe and what Alan would do in such a situation. Pretty funny. Alan would probably try and go forward with it as well. Thank you for enjoying those with me. I got sent that video by a number of Rotarians this week saying we got to play this week. So
And since this is a family show, I'm not going to share what I probably would have said.
Good to hear, Alan. Good to hear. We appreciate that very, very much. I can't tell you. Let's move into Happy Dollars this week. Does anyone have any Happy Dollars to give? Jack Lucas, Mr. Jack Lucas, saw you first.
10 happy dollars as Michigan grad won 7th Super Bowl, Tom Brady.
Yeah. He partied his butt off afterwards, Jack. Did you see that party afterwards and him tossing the Lombardi trophy from one boat to the next?
That's right. Yeah, that was neat.
Lots of fun. Said avocado tequila, nothing to see here. All right. Anyone else happy today? Looking around to see anyone. Steve Lamp, did I see you? Sorry if you don't. Bill Landwehr, go ahead. Oops, sorry, Bill, you're still muted.
Bill Kelly?
No, Bill Landwehr, and then Bill, if you got something too, that's great. But I said Bill Landwehr first here.
You can't get it on mute.
No, I heard you for just a second, Bill. There you go. You're good.
Okay. Happy 5 for Bill Kelly for sending out that note on how to get the COVID shot. I got mine, Mimi got hers. We'll get the second one next week.
That's wonderful. Bill, was it easy to do?
Absolutely. They didn't have to ask the lady if she actually shot me. I didn't feel it.
And how'd you feel after, Bill? Any side effects or anything?
No issues at all.
You didn't run out to buy any Microsoft products because you got implanted with a chip or anything? Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. It sounds like it's safe.
The second one.
That's wonderful, Bill. It's great to hear from you and Mimi. Hope we see you guys soon. Bill Kelly, were you raising your hand too? I just didn't see you.
I did, and I just to dovetail on that. 5 happy dollars. Chris Young from the Barrington Breakfast Club at Florida that linked to me, reached out to me, and when I asked her, would you mind if I forward it to our club? She goes, no, by all means. Advocate wanted to make sure that all their slots were as filled up as possible, and so not only did we get vaccinated, but we made sure that the vaccine got into people's arms. The last thing you want to see is open slots. We want to get that done as soon as possible. So it was just a great day. Love to all the people that got vaccinated. It just warms our hearts. So thank you.
That's wonderful, Bill, and you did this, and thanks to who you said from the Barrington Breakfast Club. That's wonderful, and I got to say, what I see here is an example of our tagline of Rotary opening opportunities. Like, it's exactly what you just did. We're providing opportunities for people in this club to get vaccinated, and I think that's just tremendous, Bill. Thank you for what you did there. Gail Vandenberg joining us from the road. Go ahead, Gail.
You have to unmute yourself.
I did see, I saw Gail Vandenberg with her hand up. Go ahead, Gail.
But she has to unmute herself.
Yep.
Happy birthday. Hi. Happy birthday to Jack Rankin. It's his
Oh, no. You're still muted, Gail. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Un poquito. This much. Uh-oh. Sorry, Gail. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to get, yeah, I'm trying, Gail. I can hear you very, very lightly, but it also says that you're muted. I'm not sure what's going on. I apologize, Gail. Can anyone hear Gail? Okay, excellent. Thank you, Gail. We appreciate it. I did hear you say that. It's really, really low to barely hear. Sorry about that. I think being remote sometimes can do that. Nancy Redmond, I see you with your hand up.
Come on, Nancy. Come on.
Anyone with their hands above like shoulder height, I'm basically just calling on at this point. John Selke's got his hand on his face, and now I think he's raising his hand.
And when I did silent auctions, those were always bids. So
yeah. All right. Gail, actually, Gail, I see you're unmuted now. Can you give me a mic check? I might hear you. Nothing. All right. We did try. All right. Moving on to your president has neglected to do something that you should have done, which is we got ourselves a new member just recently. And I have not done a good enough job in introducing her to our club and making her feel welcome and in a formal way. Gail, I did hear you that time, but it was you're still very faint. With that, I'd like to introduce the newest member of our club, a member with Mary Sproul at Topgolf, the newest member of our club, Moral Sosi Abrahamian. Moral, welcome to our club. Thank you. And I wanted to just give you a moment to introduce yourself to the club. Tell us maybe just a little bit about you, what makes you you, why this is something that you wanted to join, and tell us about what you want to get done here. I muted you. Sorry, that was my fault. I keep doing it. I'm done. I'm not touching anything. Sorry, you're still muted. You're still muted. Sorry, that was my fault.
You hear me? Okay. So, hi everyone. Thanks for that, Wes. I appreciate it. So my name is Meryl Sosi Abrahamian. And most of you that I've had the pleasure of working with, I've worked with through the Hoffman Estates Shop with a Cop program, the Hoffman Estates Chamber of Commerce, when I was the vice chair. In my time when I was at the Marriott and Hoffman Estates, I was introduced to the Rotary by a previous Rotarian, Jeff Lincolnwerder, who opened my eyes to the world of Rotary. So I guess I was a Rotarian at heart before I knew I was even a member. So my introduction was actually pretty remarkable, as Jeff would just say, we're doing this Rib Fest, come volunteer, sell raffle tickets. And anyone knows from the chamber or any of the golf outings that I don't take no for an answer when it comes to selling raffle tickets and stuff. I usually weigh in the guilt of, you really want change, you're taking away from the kids, and then I scold you like a school teacher and shame you for $5. So I've had the better half of my career world has been in the hospitality industry, which led me to the wonderful world of Topgolf. And here I am. I speak 4 different languages. I have a dog. I'm married. On most days, he's my husband, not my roommate, but there are moments where he ticks me off and he's my roommate. But we live in Des Plaines. I don't know what else you would like to know about me, but that's it. I'm available. I oversee field trips here at Topgolf. I oversee military, religious, fraternal, educational outings. So anybody that's doing any of the above, I'm happy to assist you, and look forward to working with all of you for, what we do as Rotarians, and just excited to be officially a part of the family. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome to you. It's tremendous to have you here. We appreciate your energy. I appreciate you being here as often as you have, and I really look forward to you being a great productive member of our club. Thank you so much, and thank you to Mary for bringing a great member to us. We certainly appreciate that. Let us move into some club business and announcements. Is there anybody who has any club business to discuss? Looking around, I saw Holly. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say welcome to Merrill, and I'll be talking to you about the vacation raffle to join Gail and I. I think that's like a match made in heaven. Anyway, we'll talk later. But I wanted to make an announcement about the Spiritware order. I'm going to be trying to get this thing done on Monday. So you guys have the weekend to get your orders in. If you haven't already, I have 16 orders. And I know I've been promising an email, but I just got a couple more orders. So I will get that email out this afternoon with everyone's order on it. So you can check it, double check it, make sure that it's correct. And anyone else who would like to get in on the Spiritware order is welcome too. Thanks, guys. That's it.
You're muted.
Mr. Tom, thank you, Holly. Yeah, thank you, Holly. Mr. Tom Ghost. Yep.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to advertise for a second, and then I'm going to bring up the latest video for you guys to see. Does it say Rotary right there?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Why help?
Why help? Why help one?
Why give to one? Why help one? Why help just one?
Why help one when you can help so many?
Why help just one when you can help so many?
Why help one when you can help so many
people? The one project we're working on now together is identifying individuals that are in need of scholarship support so they can go on to Harper College or other local colleges so they can achieve their dreams.
And it has been an inspiration to see our club award these scholarships, but not only award money, give mentorship, help with community service, help people join Rotaract, and further community service.
The Interact clubs have been successful in District 54 for many years. Most recently, within the last 2 or 3 years, there's been work to establish 2 successful food pantries. So the work of the Schaumburg-Hoffman Rotary has really been impactful, not only with students, staff, but also the community.
So the Schaumburg-Hoffman Estates Rotary has impacted the Children's Advocacy Centre very, very positively. Most recently, generously donated a healing garden to our organization. It's a wonderful space outside of our building that allows children who come to interview, so sexually abused children, to be outside, to be amongst butterflies and amongst nature. It allows therapists to take children outside and not be stuck inside the building while they're waiting to be interviewed about their experiences.
All right. Thank you. So that is for obviously pushing for sponsorships for the Classic coming up. You'll also notice it doesn't mention the Classic, so it's something even after the Classic. If we just want somebody to sponsor our club, they become a sponsor to the Classic even after this one for the next one. So I will put the link to the YouTube video of this as well as the one for tickets for that I played last week. And then check your emails later on today. You'll have a well-written email that you can just either forward or copy and paste from Rosemary so that you can push for tickets and sponsorship for the Classic coming up in less than 1 month. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Tremendous video, my friend. Continue to impress all of us. That's wonderful. I before we get to any more business, Gail wrote her happy dollars in here. I just wanted to read it. She said, "Here's my 5 happy dollars. Happy birthday to Jack Harrington, whose big birthday is today. We're coming back from the Florida Keys." Thanks, Gail. Sorry we had to have you write it today, but happy birthday to Jack Harrington. All right. Who else has any club business to discuss today? Looking around, does anyone else have anything to talk about? I got a couple on the list.
Excuse me, Wes. Wes,
go ahead.
How big is
good.
Jack's birthday?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd love to ask Gail about that.
Well, maybe she can shut. Oh, Nancy knows how much.
Unmute.
70, and he got to go deep sea fishing in the Keys yesterday.
Old man, 70.
That's a great birthday right there. I can imagine being on a boat right now. Wonderful. So I've been asked to share a couple of things with you guys this week. First things first, Rotary has created some PSA videos, things that we can use on our website and beyond, and things that you could, if you so chose, send to people as part of the video or as part of the email that you are doing. I wanted to just play a very short video, just one of these things here.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
The team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
Tremendous, really well produced, I thought, and something that makes me pretty proud to be a Rotarian. Hats off to them for creating these, and to Tom and to Holly, who you guys are helping us with our public image. Tons of these things are available. Holly's the one who sent me this, and I appreciate it. Let's put these guys to work for us, because it really leaves us in a really good light, I thought. Next is a ticket that was purchased, and we've sold a bunch of tickets so far, but this one is special. This one came from a gentleman named Stu Baker. Stu Baker found an email in his mom's inbox from Rosemary Justin asking to purchase a ticket, and he did so in the memory of Marjorie and Dr. Howard Baker. And why is that important? Because as we all know, Dr. Howard Baker was the founding member of this club, and Stu so graciously wrote in the notes field that my father founded the Schaumburg Rotary Club. I saw the email in my mom's inbox, and he wanted to purchase a ticket to honor their memory for this great cause. And I thought that was tremendous, and everyone on the ticket committee was pretty touched by Stu Baker reaching out to do that. And he's someone who lives in Chicago, doesn't have maybe much of a connection to our club other than that his father founded the club and wanted to give to us in his memory. And it got me thinking just a little bit about this and the fact that there are, I don't want to, maybe even most members of our club who have not had the pleasure of meeting Doc Baker or knowing anything about him. And he is so important to the founding of our club and who we are and in the continuity that I wanted to ask some people in the club who knew Doc for the benefit of all of us, myself included, who didn't get the chance to know who Doc Baker was, if you could just give us, tell us a story about Doc Baker. And so I reached out this week to Daryl and to Terry Park and to Jack Lucas and asked them if they had anything to share. And Daryl spoke up and said that he had something he wanted to share about Mr. Doc Baker. And I'd ask Daryl to go ahead and take it away. You're muted, bud.
Thank you. Actually, there's so much to say about Jack. What you would ask why he was called Doc, that's because he was an optometrist. So he has his doctorate in dentistry and of some sort or another. I think he did mostly braces, stuff like that. And his partner in the building was Jack Corsten, who was also a member of this club. And Jack was set to become president in like 2 years, going through the chairs up to that. And unfortunately, for us, he had something come up with a business that he was not going to be able to put the time in to do that. So they found some slug, walking around with his hand in the wrong spot and no idea what the heck he was going to do or anything. But I was happy to be president that year after Jack Lucas. So the building that they owned was on Roselle Road, just south of Schomburg Road. And Jack had the first floor and Howard had the second floor. And it was a very nice building. It was one of the only things in that area when they put it up, but you can hardly find it anymore. And so he also lived in Evanston. Now imagine driving every day to work in Schomburg in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when the roads were not very good going that far. So he didn't do a lot of the after dinner things with us, but he did everything up before that. He and Uncle Joe formed a little group that was Rotarians. And I'm trying to remember, we met at a restaurant I think it was Wednesday. And I know there's a bunch of you that are still, I know Glenn, you were there all the time. And yeah, Michael and Mike Erickson and most of the older guys were there for every Wednesday. So we were very rarely needed makeups anywhere because we had a whole pocket full of them. And I think I said it was organized by he and Uncle Joe Lesniak, who was also very popular and did a lot of things with the club. So the other guys.
Daryl, besides him founding our club, why should we remember Doc?
Well, he's the guy that came up with the four-way pack. That's all his. He did that all by himself and worked on it for years to get it ready, and then tried to make it more meaningful currently than the four-way test. And so he tried to get it through Rotary International just as an alternative, but they really wanted nothing to do with it. They weren't going to change anything they had done. But we decided many years ago that we would do that. So we've been saying that for a long time, and it is very similar to the four-way test. But he was a very nice guy who never said a bad word about anybody. It was really a joy to be around.
Jack or Terry, can you refute any of that?
Well, of course, he had so much energy. I mean, you felt his presence in the room. And that's why he was able to recruit so many new members when they started the club, because of his energy. But one of the things I remember most about him is at the table, he didn't like this loose talk about, fluff. He wanted really tough issues. He wanted to talk issues of the day, and especially controversial ones, and he loved to debate. So he always had some great discussions when he was at the table.
That's awesome. Guys, Jack, Daryl, and Terry as well, thank you. I was hoping to just take a couple minutes today for us to remember the man and remember who he was, and maybe give those of us who didn't have a chance to know him just a little bit better. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vince.
Wes, you got time?
Go ahead, Vince. We got a bunch of other things to get to. If you can do it in 15 to 30 seconds, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, well, anybody who became president of this club when Doc Baker was alive, and, there's a lot of us still in the club that were president when he was still alive, myself included. But one of the first things that happened when you became president of the club was you got a call from Howard Baker, and Howard Baker would impart upon you his thoughts and wisdom about how you should conduct yourself as president, and what the goals and the objects were of this club. And he never ever lost touch with how this club was run and the things that we did. And if you did something that he was unhappy with, you would hear about it immediately. And if you did something that he liked, you hear about that immediately as well. He was an unbelievably wonderful guy, and his influence in this club is just beyond what we all can understand. I mean, he never ever, until the day he died, lost interest in this club.
Right.
And I heard from him a lot when I was president.
May we all.
I'm sure he called you often, Alan.
When you said that, Vince, it made me think, may we all have that same dedication that clearly he demonstrated. And it's inspirational. And every time we do our four-way test, our four-way pact, I think about him, and now I know more about him. So thank you guys.
He had two favorite sayings. One was a little off color, and the other one Alan will appreciate. One of his sayings that he would say often was that if you think talk is cheap, hire a lawyer. And the other one that he would say all the time is, please don't say hard to an old man. So I'll leave you with those two famous sayings from Howard Baker.
Thank you, Vince. Tremendously colorful and exactly what I was looking for today. Thank you, guys. Wanted to share just really quickly, because we got a lot more to do, just two other things. Pat Gronwald sent me a great email this morning from Harper College. It's a community update that they sent out talking about what's going on at Harper. Scrolling down to the bottom, you see a big section talking about our ACE grant, and that they describe the ACE grant as a success. They go over all of these statistics, the 77,991 funded, 30 students receiving scholarships, something to be tremendously proud of, and seeing this go to everybody who's a member over at Harper there. So congratulations, sincere congratulations to Pat Gronwald, to Gene Slinkman, and everyone who has helped out with the ACE grant. You've done our club so proud, and we appreciate all the work that you've done. So thank you to you guys for that. Lastly, I just wanted to share, POC sent us a letter as well. Give me 1 second. I'm having trouble pulling this one up right now, guys. I apologize. In the interest of time, because we got a bunch of things to get to still, I'm going to move it over right now to our Queen of Hearts master, Mr. Tom Ghost. Tom, take it away.
Woo! All righty, everybody. There it is. Look at this number right here. 300 opportunities in there. And just a quick reminder that the cutoff time is 10 a.m. on Fridays. Anything after 10 a.m. will go toward next week. So I am going to shuffle the deck here. Look at how beautiful this is going to be. Oh, look at that mosaic. And I'm about to spin. You guys ready? Here we go. Hey.
No audio.
Damn.
Sorry.
I could swear I had the audio. Oh, look at that. Woo! We got a winner. Let's bring this up. Can you see which number you want?
17, done, easy.
17. 17 is here. Here we go. I can't see anything.
I noticed there were so many names in there. It took longer to shuffle this time than it has too. That was pretty fun.
Yep. Yeah, it's, damn it. Tried. Oh my goodness. Ted Gross, you're going to be very, very upset with yourself.
What is that, Tom? I can't read it.
You can't read it?
Can't read it.
That is, I believe, a Queen of Hearts.
Get the no.
You just won, Wes.
Oh my God. No way.
Yep, and we're getting some notes from the peanut gallery here that the president should not be winning this. So it will go to the guy running the Queen of Hearts. All of the money and proceeds will go to the guy that puts all the time in there. But there it is. It is a Queen of Hearts that was chosen, number 17. And I sure hope it'll be kind of fun and frolic here shortly.
How much money was it, Tom?
Congratulations, Wes.
I knew you were going to ask me that. Give me 1 second. I can't remember. There's about $6,100 in the pot, and I believe that he gets half of that so that we can have a nice pot going forward. So,
unbelievable.
There's about 100 witnesses here, so we'll all be marching to the IRS to make sure we know each and every one of those things.
Thank you,
congratulations,
guys.
Wes.
I don't know what to say.
Congratulations.
With my hands
Wes.
now. Oh my God. Thank you, guys. Holy crap.
I wasn't paying attention. Who won?
Wes!
Was that?
Holy crap.
Who won?
Me.
It was Wes that won. Wes Crockett.
All right, Wes. I'm sorry.
Appreciate
I was looking up something on my computer while that was going on. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. I think I might be the poorest person in the club too. So this is just great. This is tremendous.
Congratulations, Wes. I'm sure you've got enough there in that little kitty to pay for a month's worth of gas.
Yeah.
For all the effort you put together, putting these meetings on every week, you deserve every dime of that, Wes.
Thank you, Vince. I got to run a meeting. Hold on. I got to run a meeting now.
$100, Wes. It's not life changing.
That's yeah, Vince. It is.
All right.
Unless you're living under a bridge.
Let's go to our sage.
Wes, I think George is saying it perfectly. Meeting adjourned. Ding.
Thank you, guys. Let's move over to Alan so I can give him half of that pot.
Thank you very much, Wes. You know, when I come to these meetings, I have very little things to talk about. And, you know, we try to raise money for the children and all the projects we're doing. And I'm thinking that I should just find Vince and he would cover all the fines today. So the first fine I'm going to give Vince is, as we all know, if your name is in the newspaper, it's a $5 fine. Well, Vince wrote a letter to the Daily Herald complaining about the COVID vaccination, and it wasn't fair and it wasn't in line, and he went on and on and on, as we all know Vince can do. So then, of course, after it's published in the Herald, Vince made arrangements to have his first vaccination tomorrow. So Vince, that'll be $5 for having your name in the Herald. And I know you don't like paying fines, and I know every time you open the wallet, the butterflies, the moths come flying out, but let's try this one. For making fun of Wes and taking advantage of his condition, I don't think that's fair. You know, it's not fair to all concerned, and I think you should pay another $3 fine in Wes's honor. So going forward, as we all know, there are certain rules. And Jack Lucas is going to be happy with one of my rules today. Congratulations on your alumna who won the Super Bowl. And I won't tell you what I think of it, but you're wearing the same Rotary shirt as I am wearing. And the reason I chose this shirt because it's bright and sunny. And it makes you think of summer and spring. And Bruce, you were close, but not quite. So if you're not wearing the same Rotary, if you are wearing the same Rotary attire that I'm wearing, you pay no fines today, Jack Lucas. If you are not wearing Rotary attire, that's $2. If you did not respond to this week's question, and the question was, if you won the grand prize of $10,000, what would you do with the money? If you did not respond to that, that's a $2 fine. If you have not turned any sold classic tickets in, that's a $4 fine. Remember, the first week it was $2, last week it was $3, this week it's $4, and I think most of you will catch on what it's going to be as we get closer to the classic. If you did not attend the classic meeting that Julie and George held this week and did not tell them you could not make it, that's a $2 fine. If you were late, which I think one of our wonderful past district governors, Julie Clark, was late, that's a $2 fine. If you did not reach out to a fellow Rotarian this past week on some non-Rotarian matter, that's a $2 fine. If you're not wearing your Rotary pin, that's a $2 fine. And then since Valentine's Day is Sunday, I thought we would have a little quiz. Now, this, of course, is the truth. So you are going to have to police yourselves to answer these Valentine's Day questions. We all know the candies called Sweethearts. When did they first get their shape? Was it 1901, 1902, or 1903? If you thought that Sweethearts first got their shapes in 1903, raise your hand. If you thought Sweethearts got their first shape in 1902, raise your hand. If you thought that Sweethearts got their first shape in 1901, raise your hand. All of you 1901ers are correct. Everybody else will pay $2. From where was the oldest known Valentine's Day message sent? Was it sent from the Vatican? Was it sent from prison? Or was it sent from Paris? So, if you thought the first Valentine wish came from the Vatican, raise your hand. If you thought that the first Valentine wish came from prison, raise your hand. If you can't raise your hand twice. Well, you can, but then it's a fine. If you thought that the first Valentine came from Paris, raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, it came from prison. So if you did not go to prison, that's a $2 fine. Sweetheart Productions of the candies were temporarily suspended in what year? Was it 17, 2018, or 2019? Okay, you got those years. If you thought it was 2017, raise your hand. If you thought it was 2018, raise your hand. If you thought it was 2019, raise your hand. I'm sorry, it was very sad in 2019 when they temporarily suspended their production. So if you said 2017 or 2018, that's $2. Now this one Jim Fabrini would know the answer to, but he's not here. So about how many roses are sent for Valentine's Day each year? Is it 40 million, 45 million, or 50 million? How many people think that 40 million Valentine roses are sent on Valentine's Day? How many think it's 45 million? Okay, you are all wrong. It's 50 million roses are sent on Valentine's Day. Unless you're gonna have to pay an extra $2 because Jim is your uncle and you should go through the bloodline that Flores know these things.
He's got my parents at work for him today. It's unbelievable.
That's another $2. So on the average, how many marriage proposals are there on every Valentine's Day, which I like to hear a lot because half of those will come to me later on for divorces. So are there 200,000 marriage proposals? Are there 220,000 marriage proposals? Or are there 240,000 marriage proposals? If you thought it was 200,000, raise your hand. If you thought it was 220,000, raise your hand. If you thought it was 240,000, raise your hand. It was 220,000 marriage proposals are made on Valentine's Day. So I know we have a very interesting speaker. I can see that he's almost falling asleep there. So I'm going to move it along to some fines about what arose today during the meeting. Morel, I love your talk today. It's great seeing you again. The Marriott has never been the same since you left there. But when you talked about your family, you mentioned your dog before you mentioned your husband. So that'll be $2. It's Valentine's Day weekend. So Wes, come back, Wes. It's Howard Baker, not Jack Baker, Howard Baker.
I don't see now. I didn't think I said Jack Baker. I heard someone else say. I see Roger. Yeah, I heard someone say. I think it was Daryl who said.
You want to keep arguing with me? You want to lose all the money you won today?
I said Jack Corkston.
Holly. You know I love you, but it's a vacation drawing, not the vacation raffle. So that'll be $2. Okay. If you are wearing a hat to today's meeting, Gail, John Selke, that'll be $2. Mary Sprout, you had a guest. You had a guest licking your face and you introduce your guest. So that'll be $2 for your guest. If you did, Wes, so we're going to come to you. You know my rule. I never fine anybody for winning a raffle, or winning a drawing, or winning the Queen of Hearts. So I'm going to let you donate whatever you want to donate. And I understand your position. And notwithstanding what Vince may have said, which was totally inappropriate, whatever you feel is appropriate, we will accept. And if you don't mention it now, you can just, do it later on and give the money to the treasurer.
Thank you. $250, Alan.
$2.50 or $250?
$250, Alan.
Wow.
Wow.
Good one, Wes.
And then Roger Smith. I love you dearly. But
Love you
there
too.
are 4 attorneys in this club. And I know each of us were very upset, hurt, and dismayed by the comment you made, by the alleged joke. So I think you should pay $1 for each attorney in the club. And finally, I'm going to go to the responses to Fun and Frolic. They were very interesting. It shows that people in this club have big hearts. But there are a few that I have to share, and I'm going to send the whole list to Bruce for him to send it out with the buzz. But Brian Berg, this one I thought was the most interesting. The $10,000 will go into the abyss of my wife and my checking account. It will eventually evaporate. On what? Who knows? And Bob Fleischer, who is going to pay a $5 fine for this one, I would open a special fine bank account that would hopefully cover all the fines I received from our brutal fine master. And then he put 5 hearts after it.
I love you, Alan.
Yeah, so Jody Benjamin. Now, can you tell that she's a banker? Give a portion back to the foundation, save the rest. I haven't seen Jody, but that'll be $2, and Bruce will put that in the buzz. Okay, and Steve Lamp confused me. He said something about some Rotarians may feel a little superstitious in answering this question. Why is that, Steve? Where's the Steve? Can you hear me through the fog of your cigar smoke?
Alan, your voice faded on us momentarily while you were in the middle of that missive.
Okay, I said, Steve Lamp said, some Rotarians may feel a little superstitious in answering this weekly question. So, Steve, why would someone be superstitious?
Well, they may think they're going to lose if they answer the question. They may not win.
Oh, like they're going to win the first place. I mean, the Nets the only one who answered that they won and what they did with the money. And I want to give out kudos to 2 members of our club for being the most honest. They were Ed Haig and Gary Anderson, both of whom said that they will take the money that they won after they paid the taxes on it. So congratulations to Ed and Gary. Everybody have a great weekend. If you were not fined yet today, I'm shocked. So pay $5 just for the hell of it. And I'm turning the meeting back over to you, Wes, so we can wake Roger up and give us our program today. Wes, back to you. Wes, back to you.
Appreciate it. Sorry about that, Alan. I was on mute. My apologies. And thank you for helping raising some money for the club today
Oh, wait,
and having a lot of fun with it.
excuse me. I almost forgot Terry Park. It happened before the meeting started, and he started picking on Mary Sproul and Gary Anderson. Terry, that's my job. Don't try to usurp my authority. So that'll be $2 each, or a total fine of $4. That's it, Wes. Now I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over now to our Director of Club Administration, Mr. Bob Fleischer, so he may introduce our fabulous guest today, with my apologies for turning it over just a bit late to you.
You got a lot of nerve, Wes, but at any rate, geez, I really enjoy that lofty title I have. But anyway, so Roger is joining us, and I think you're going to find it quite compelling, and we appreciate and respect him for being here. So take it away.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here. I was totaling up all of the things that I didn't do, and I think I owe about $150 in fines if I totaled it up correctly. So that'd be so thank you.
Roger, we'll take a check or a credit card. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Great. Don't hold your breath. So I do love speaking to Rotary clubs, and I've spoken to Rotary clubs all across the country. So this is a great honor. I am going to share my screen here. The title I have chosen for this presentation. Why is it not sharing?
There we go. It's loading. It's working. Give us just a second.
Okay.
Your brain is lying to you. We see it.
There it is. Your brain is lying to you. So here's the question. How would each of you be different tomorrow if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that some portion of what was up here was either misleading or just wrong? And what if it was a large portion? What if it was 30, 40, or 50%? Some quick reactions to that. How would you feel if that was the case? Get up in the morning, you know that some portion, large portion of what's up here is wrong. Any thoughts? Anyone want to jump in?
Actually, I think my wife tells me that every morning.
That's true. I get two general reactions to that question. One is people say, I would be horrified if I thought that so much of what I thought was wrong that I wouldn't even get out of bed for fear of being wrong all day. At the other end of the spectrum, lots of people say, you know, that's interesting. If I knew that a lot of what I was thinking was wrong and everybody else knew that as well, it would give me the opportunity to be more inquisitive, to ask more questions, to learn more about what it is I'm thinking that might be off base just a little bit so I can think more accurately and better tomorrow. So that's what I want to talk about. And I'm going to begin with a quote that I love, and it's not clear who said this first, but it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. The human brain is easily fooled, and I'm going to just run through fairly quickly here a number of ways in which you can have thoughts in your brain that are just not quite accurate. Starting with pattern making, the human brain takes sensory information, audio, olfactory, visual information, and turns those into stories. You take little bits and pieces of information, you turn them into bigger stories. So here's a very simple example. Kinesis triangle, green triangle and white triangle. Now I can't see all of you is there any way, do you know, I can only see 4 people. Do you know if on WebEx if there's a way for me to see more than 4?
While you're presenting it, there may not be, if you go up to the top right in that little pane that shows you those 4 people, you can make it larger or smaller, but it uses a ton of your computer's RAM to do that, so it may not be, but you can flip through the photos. If you press the arrow, you can flip through.
Okay, I've got a few more. We'll do it this way. So by show of hands, which triangle is larger? How many think the green triangle is larger? Anybody? How many think the white triangle is larger? How many think they're the same size? Okay, that's almost always the reaction I get, because the fact of the matter is there are no triangles in that picture. In 1958, I think it was, an Italian by the name of Gaetano Canizza figured out how to rearrange those 6 independent shapes in a way to make your brain believe there are 2 triangles there, and there aren't. So you are making up a story here about these 6 independent shapes. You're making up a story that likely doesn't exist. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. This idea of pattern making, we do it thousands of times every day. We turn disparate pieces of sensory information into stories. So here's another example. Well, back to Canizza's triangle. This is a picture I took at a coffee shop in a resort that I was in a few years ago. Now, if you look at this above the door, you look at it for a minute, you say, well, it says Cafe Lounge, which is all well and good, except there really isn't an F there. There is steam coming up from what looks like a coffee cup, but it's not really even a cup. It's a bunch of squiggles. You could even argue that the C in cafe is a spiral, not a C. But yet your brain makes up a story that says Cafe Lounge with a coffee cup, when in fact those things really don't exist. Here's a fun one. This was just in my neighborhood last Halloween. Again, little bits and pieces of information. Your brain is immediately making up a story there about what happened. And all you're seeing is some little bits and pieces of information. But let's get more serious. The minute you see this picture, your brain is already making up a story about this young man. Who he is, where he lives, what he thinks, even maybe what he believes. The fact of the matter is, and this is what's really sad, is that for millions of people in this country today, they would hate this young man just based upon this picture. They would make all kinds of stories about him and who he is, and they would decide they don't like him before they even know him. I use this in high schools all the time when I talk to high school students, and they all look at me and go, but there's no reason to dislike that young man. We don't know anything about him. Just another example of how your brain, our brains, now I'm not suggesting that anybody in this group made an unflattering story about this young man, but you can't help but making some story about this young man, good or bad. Just another simple example of how you can take images and see them in a couple of different ways. If I asked you what letter that was, you'd probably say it's a C. And indeed it is. You've seen it a million times. AMC Theaters. It is a C. But if you take that exact shape and rearrange it in just some small way, it's no longer a C, it's now an O. The same exact shape, but your brain tells you 2 completely different stories about what that shape is. It's called pattern making. Your brain does it thousands of times every day. Come on, face it, if you've ever had children, I'd come home from work and the children would be arguing, and I'd make up an immediate story based upon hearing 3 words from the kids. I'd make up an immediate story about who did what to whom and why and what their motivations were, and start to issue punishments. What we have to always be aware of is that the stories we're making up based upon disparate pieces of information are often wrong. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Let me talk about beware the easy answer. And I will try to keep track of time here, so we may be rushed here just a bit. Beware the easy answer. This is a very famous question. If a ball and a bat cost $1.10 together and the bat costs $1 more than the ball, how much does the ball cost? People look at this, and I won't ask you the question, people look at this and they go, well, it's obvious the ball costs 10 cents, which is the easy but wrong answer. Because if the ball costs 10 cents, the bat's $1, and the difference between them is 90 cents, not $1. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the mathematics to prove this to you. Just know that if you said the ball costs 10 cents, that is an easy but wrong answer. Daniel Kahneman won the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work on how the human brain operates. I highly recommend this book, Thinking Fast and Slow. In this book, he says the human brain has got two modes, an easy mode and a more difficult mode. And the human brain will always opt for the easy, simple answer rather than doing the harder work, like with the bat and the ball, the harder work to try to challenge your assumptions and get to the real answer. I love this quote from Daniel Kahneman. He says, "Our comforting conviction that the world makes sense rests on a secure foundation, our almost unlimited ability to ignore our ignorance." This became very interesting to me just a couple of weeks ago. I was reading a book by Anne Applebaum called The Twilight of Democracy. And in it, she quotes a political economist by the name of Karen Stenner, who said people are often attracted to authoritarian ideas because they're bothered by complexity. This is exactly what Daniel Kahneman was saying, is that when we're facing complexity, the human brain will often grab something that's quick and easy and seems to be a simple explanation, as opposed to doing the hard work of checking our assumptions and our facts. To me, this explains conspiracy theories. It explains QAnon. And I had this insight just 2 weeks ago that this explains Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're very quick to jump at a quick, easy, simple answer when we're facing complexity. And when we do that, we'll often come to the wrong conclusion. We need to do the hard work of challenging our assumptions and looking for facts. Let's take a look at assumptions for just a second. I'll go through this one fairly quickly. Those of you who remember geometry you studied in high school, you remember the assumption that if there's a line, A, L, and a point not on that line, A, there is one and only one line that goes through that point parallel to line L. That makes intuitive sense, but it is an assumption, and it's that assumption that defines Euclidean geometry. You don't have to make that assumption. You could make the assumption that there are multiple lines through A parallel to L. That violates your intuition, but you can make that assumption. If in fact you insist on sticking with the assumption that there is only one line through that point parallel to L, if you insist on sticking with that assumption, Einstein's theory of relativity vanishes. It requires non-Euclidean geometry to have any validity. So why do I say that? We're all making assumptions every day. My guess is you're making assumptions about customers, suppliers, and competitors. I worked for a company years ago. Their assumption was that the competitors were idiots. Many years later, the company I worked for is out of business, and the competitor actually is doing very, very well. What assumptions you're making about your industry and its future? My guess is that a year ago, when this COVID thing happened, a lot of assumptions about your industry and its future may have changed. Assumptions about loved ones, friends, politics, other. What assumptions are you making that you'd be better off dropping? Because as with Einstein's theory of relativity, unless we drop some of our assumptions, we're closed off to potentially whole new worlds. If we allow for new assumptions in our lives, it's possible that whole new worlds open up to us. So the assumptions that we make about the world can give us inadequate answers to life. Zen Master Suzuki said it best, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, the person who has all the assumptions and all the knowledge and all the facts and all the certainties, the expert has very few possibilities. Let's move on quickly to anchoring. Anchoring is a topic. Let's take the sequoias in California. If I asked you the average height of the sequoias in California, you'd give me a number. And we could plot those and come up with some kind of a graph. But I can change the way you come to your conclusion. If I gave you a card, suppose I gave half of you on the left side a card that said sequoias are less than 1,500 feet tall, what is their average height, you'd give me an answer. On the right side of the room, I give you a card that says the sequoias are more than 100 feet tall, what's the average height? Now I'll get two completely different sets of answers. Those of you on the left will start, this is why it's anchoring, start at 1,500 and go, well, it's less than that, so 12, 11, maybe 1,000. And those of you on the right side of the room, you're anchored at 100. And so you'll start at 100 and say, well, maybe it's 152 or maybe 500. We'll take two completely different sets of answers from the left and the right side of the room because I've anchored you at those two heights. Now, we get anchored constantly. You get anchored about competitive prices and competitive activities. I spend 4 hours a week answering calls in the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. I have for 18 years. I've probably taken 11,000 phone calls. If I could tell you how many young women have called me on the suicide hotline because they hate what they see in the mirror in the morning, it would make you cry. Appropriate dress, proper behavior, wealth and success. We all get anchored as to what those things should be in mental illness. And I see this all the time on the suicide hotline. So anchoring has a way of putting numbers and ideas in our head that we get stuck to. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure. That just ain't so. Our fallible human memory. I'll go through this one real quickly and I'll skip probably the last one so there's time for questions. Those of you who are around for 9/11, that's what we call a flashbulb memory. One of those days when you're certain you remember exactly where you were and what happened. Flashbulb memories, let's talk about that. The first time this was investigated was after the Challenger disaster. If those of you who remember the Challenger when it first went down, what they did was the day after the Challenger disaster, they got lots of people to write down where they were the day before, who they were with, and what was the sequence of events. 2 years later, they found as many of those people as they could, and they asked them again to repeat what happened on the day the Challenger went down. And here are the results. Now, this has been repeated time and time and time again. 2 years after the Challenger disaster, fewer than 7% matched their memory exactly. 50% were wrong in 2/3 of their assertions. 25% were wrong in every major detail. This happens every time, and this experiment has been repeated over and over and over again. So if I asked all of you who remember September 11th, do you remember where you were and who you were with in the sequence of events? You would probably all say, yes, I remember it exactly, and I'm sure I'm right, but only 7% of us would be. That means only a couple of people in the room would have it exactly correct. Half the people in the room would have 2/3 of their memories inaccurate, and a quarter of the people sitting here likely would be wrong in almost every major detail. In a court of law, we rely on eyewitness accounts, and what we know is they are some of and the lawyers in the room would probably back me up on this, eyewitness accounts are some of the worst pieces of evidence in a trial. If you don't believe me, remember an infamous family event. Write down exactly what happened. Maybe there was an argument at a family reunion or something. Then I dare you to call the others who were involved and compare notes and be prepared for an argument. Because the people in the room will be like, what do you mean I said that? I was in Alaska that day. I wasn't even here. Kate didn't say that. You said that. You get this huge argument almost every time because people's memories are fallible. If you've ever tried this, you will know that this in fact does happen. It ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. So this is the piece I'm going to skip past. It's not really that essential. So whether you believe me or not, the fact of the matter is that many of the thoughts, ideas, and opinions you have every day are in fact misleading you. Knowing that, how will you be different tomorrow? It's the question I leave you with. If you got up every day and knew that a lot of what was up here was either misleading or just plain wrong, how would you approach your day differently on every aspect? Business, personal, community, Rotary Club. I've had the fortunate experience of giving 2 TEDx talks. They're both on my website. There's my email there, rogerbreich@alum.mit.edu. And my website is rebreich.com. And I did, a number of years ago, put together a group of essays together in a book that I called Questions That Matter, which is available on Amazon. So that leaves us with 3 or 4 minutes. Thoughts, questions? Let me stop sharing so that we can all see each other better. Thoughts, questions, ideas, disagreements? Mary?
I have a question. Do you know anything about the Mandela effect and how does that happen?
I'm sorry, say that again. The
Mandela effect?
No, I don't know enough about it to make an intelligent comment.
It's so weird because we all have this we all have same memories of things that like never happened. If you guys don't know what it is, it's a really, really kind of weird phenomenon that.
Well, so let me say this.
Example.
So let me say this. What I know is what I've been talking about here is just the biology of the human brain and how the neurons connect and help us make decisions. And this whole presentation is about how sometimes the neural pathways in our brain get confused and make bad decisions. I think what you're talking about is a whole other area of spirituality and you know that's yes, I'm sure there's a lot of validity to all of those things as well, but outside the scope of what I'm trying to say. Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ali.
Roger, you mentioned a TED Talk. Did you do a TED Talk about what you talked about today? That's like kind of a similar thing in your TED Talk?
The 2 TED Talks are really actually very different. The first one at IIT was based upon Marianne Williamson's quote that our biggest fear isn't that we're inadequate, our biggest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. So I tell a lot of stories in there about how you'll see some similarities there, but how we misinterpret who we are. The second one, TEDx Quincy, is called Finding Joy and Wisdom on the Other Side of Suffering. And I tell a lot of stories in there about experiences in life and on the suicide hotline with people who gained wisdom and rebuilt their lives after suffering tragedy.
The talk that you did today, do you have that in a recorded format?
I don't, to be honest with you. Every time I give this talk, there's 3 times as many slides in that presentation as what I showed you, and I pick a different set almost every time because there's so many ways in which the human brain gets fooled. I only scratched the surface.
And Holly, just so you know, Holly and Roger, I guess, this meeting has been recorded, and if you so choose, you can share it with someone if that's what you're looking for, Holly.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Other questions?
Thank you. It was fabulous. I really enjoyed it.
I threw a tremendous amount at you because my point wasn't for you to actually understand each and every point that I made. My hope is that I hit you with enough ways in which your brain gets easily confused that you buy my assertion that a lot of what's up here is either misinformed or inaccurate. Bruce?
What is the common response when someone comes to the realization that a deeply held belief is absolutely bullshit?
So there's another book called Being Wrong by Kathryn Schultz. And in it, she asks the question, how does it feel to be wrong? And lots of people say, well, I'd be embarrassed, I'd be whatever. She goes, no. How it feels to be wrong is just like what it feels to be right. The question is, how does it feel to learn that you're wrong? Because just being wrong can feel very right. And the answer to that question, how does it feel to learn that you're wrong, is much like I said earlier. Some people are embarrassed by that and want to run and hide. Other people go, thank God, now I can think some new thoughts. Wesley, I know we're getting over time.
Oh, no, we're very close. All I want to do is piggyback on Bruce. It seems like there was a book that just came out that's about changing your mind and what it takes to change your mind and what it means when you do change your mind. And it seems as though if it's a politician, we typically hold them and say, you're a hypocrite, rather than saying, allowing someone to say, I learned more. And I thought that was an important distinction. Roger, Reese, thank you so much for your wonderful talk. I saw Bill coming up there too. My apologies, Bill. I didn't see your hand till too late. Bill, do you have one thing you wanted to ask?
No, just absolutely fascinating, enlightening, insightful, eye-opening. Loved it. Thank you.
Yeah,
well, thanks.
Wonderful, and continuing the high bar that Bob Fleischer continues to set for himself, and wonderful speakers.
And I
thank you so much.
And I appreciate the legal term that Bruce shared with the club.
With that, everyone, we are going to close our meeting today, just like we always do, by going over the four-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. Mike Erickson, would you mind unmuting yourself and please leading us in the four-way test?
Sure. The four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Is it the concern? Will it build good friendship? Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to our generous Rotarians today for being with us. I am going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for being here today. Just so everyone knows who is still getting on or off right now, next Friday we are meeting in person at Chandler's. Hopefully you'll be there right around noon. We're going to start the meetings just like we always have traditionally. Get there sometime before 12:15. Talk with your friends with your masks on. We're going to sit down at 12:15 and start the meeting and start service. Go ahead, Bill.
It's going to be hybrid too, both ways.
Yes, sir.
Video and in person.
Yeah. And how, before is there a way that we're going to get the spiritware if it's not too late to order that? Where would be the link?
Right, me. Just tell me. I'm doing I'm order everybody together.
I don't know what are the options, Holly. Is there a polo shirt or anything?
No, there are two, a pull-on hoodie and a zip-up hoodie. The pull-on hoodie is like a sapphire blue, and the zip-up hoodie is a gray. And they will have the Rotary logo on them, plus it'll say Schaumburg Hoffman Estates.
Okay, I'll try the zip-up.
Okay. What's up?
That'll probably be safe to go double XL, I bet you, right?
2X, really?
Well, Holly, you could say Billy. Yeah, I think it should be medium for you. But, or XL will be good. Let's try XL.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to let the meeting keep going, but I'm out. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Wes. Already.
Take care, Wes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, got it.
Thanks.
So, Vince, what time is your shot?
My shot is at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Vince.
Yeah.
Where'd you get it at?
I'm getting it at the Walgreens in Benson.
All right, very good. I got my second one coming up a week from Monday. So,
yeah, me too.
All right, where's your at, Glenn? Where'd you go?
In Chicago.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey guys, let's put me in charge of ending the meeting. Is there anything else you guys got to share?
Nope. Okay, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I have something. Holly, I want the zip up one as large as you can get it.
It comes in, I think there's a 2 or 3X. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you, Carol.
Thanks, Tom.
Vince, are you ready for wine next week?
I am. I'm going to be there, Glenn.
Yeah. So I'm ending the meeting. So long. Have a good one.
Gonna end the meeting?
I got to go. Some of us got jobs and lives. You got to move on.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
See everybody next week. Take care.
Take care, Barry.
Are you